Hi, this is Brenda Lundblad, and this is my blog on the reporting of the project, the Goodspeed Manuscript Collection. This is my first time I've ever used a video camera other than Skype, and so I've been getting all set up here, trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, so you'll have to bear with me. But the project I chose here was probably my third choice. My first two choices were the ones I wrote my last things on. So this would be about Mr. Edgar J. Goodspeed, and this whole website is dedicated to him, and it is a collection, as you can maybe see right here. I'm talking and using my mouse. It comprises of 68 early Greek and all these other manuscripts ranging from the 5th to 19th centuries. And it is actually housed, if you see up here, it's housed by the University of Chicago Library. About him, if we click on here, it says his name, how long he lived, his manuscript studies, and the building of the collection. And just a little bit kind of about him that I was reading that kind of explains, it goes into all his different degrees, what he was interested in, the things he started collecting. But as I was reading, I thought this kind of summarized why you would be wanting to collect all this. Building to the Goodspeed collection, 1927 to 1952. Pardon me, I don't have my glasses on and they are kind of broke. So, within years of his appointment as chairman of the Department of New Testament and Early Christian Literature in 1923, Goodspeed accelerated his search for the New Testament manuscripts for the University of Chicago. Goodspeed considered manuscripts, this is what I found key here, considered manuscripts to be the essential to research in the humanities as laboratories in the natural sciences. So he felt that manuscripts were just as essential to the humanities as laboratories were to natural sciences. So I thought that was kind of neat. It seemed like this was something he really enjoyed doing, researching. These weren't books or anything like that. These were manuscripts, and he felt that these were like the unsung or hidden gems, and so this is what his passion was. His goal was the acquisition of hitherto unknown, unlisted, and undescribed sources that could provide the basis for new scholarship. Building on the remarkable series of acquisitions achieved in rapid succession, Goodspeed was able to create the core of the notable collection of New Testament manuscripts today that bear his name. And then it goes into kind of his first discoveries. By year, kind of goes into all his different findings, different examples. And then at the bottom it shows the Collection Research Center in Chicago. So if you go back up here, on the website you can see all the different places to browse the collection. There's the digitized manuscripts, and there's each one listed here. This is MS, manuscript, the number, and let's just pull up this one, Timothy and Titus. And then what they did is they took pictures of them. They've got a description of each one, and zoomable images. You can see that is probably not something we could read on our own. Wow. So that's just an example, and then if you look at how big it is, it even shows it in centimeters here. So that gives you a really good idea of the size of the page, what the writing looked like. I hate to get too big here. That kind of gives a good feel for what the writings look like. Okay, and back to the all digitized manuscripts. So that was the one. Let me do one more, and then we'll go back to browsing our collection. Scott Brown New Testament. Now, this one has a lot more options here. Look at that. Probably it looks like 50 pages. And you can look at it in this order. Oh, there's even more. Wow. So, that was just what can go on the one screen. If you go 350 or over and the cover, back, and the binding, that is really amazing. So on one page you get the first 50, and then what you do is there's your description, and that gives you more of what you're looking at if you have any idea what you're looking for, which this is definitely not my forte, but I'm happy to try to share at least what this looks like. Here is the binding for that. That would have been the cover of the manuscript. So we will go back to, keep going back. You can even search the collection if you're unlike me and you know Goodspeed and you are looking for something. You can go in there and search up here in the search bar. Otherwise, you can go to the title and text. You can go by Bible. You can go by Magic Scroll. There's all these different areas you can go to. There is also common names of the manuscripts. That gives you the names of each one, what they've titled them. There is dates of origin, so they're going to list this out chronologically from the 4th century all the way to the 20th century. You can break it down by languages, in case anybody's fluent in the dead language of Latin, Hebrew, Greek, Slavonic, Arabic, none of which I would know. So, but in case you're wondering how many of these articles or manuscripts are in each language, you kind of can see the breakdown of his collection, how many are in each, and you can click on there, and that tells you which century and what the manuscript number is. Okay, so names of the individuals or organizations. There we go. There's the names of organizations associated with the manuscript, such as scribes, artists, patrons, donors, owners, and booksellers. Pretty extensive list. And you can click on one of those. Let me see if there's something that looks like it would be familiar. How about John the Monk, 12th century? And that will point out it's the manuscript 141, and that's the numbers of that, and it's in Greek. Going back to our list, materials of construction. This goes into what materials were used. Brass. Let's see what that looks like. So, this was the front cover of a brass manuscript book. That is pretty ornate. And then it shows you exactly, it was about 20 inches tall. And that is a lot of detail work. Wow. And then here's the pages within. I guess this might be the very back or the inner front. But these are the pages then within it. You can see a lot of wear, so that's impressive. I'm sure this man had a big passion to try to find this stuff and see what he could do with it, how to preserve it. That's the really neat part about this website. It goes into all the things you can learn from Goodspeed. If you know some of these languages, it has to be totally exciting and challenging. My husband took Greek in seminary, found that very interesting. And then, so that was the materials of construction. I'm working my way down, and then I will close here because we're getting here on about 10-15 minutes. The imagery. There's going to be pictures, I'm betting, so let's click on here. And here are the pictures within the manuscripts. I'm actually in an art class right now, so it is intriguing to see what the art looked like and what the time frame of each art piece is. When you go back and look, okay, let's think about this. I don't remember which one I clicked, so let me start again. So this is 1654 Armenian, and this is Apostle James. So 1656 is the year. So let's see what the art looked like during that time. So this is actually kind of intriguing for those that are wondering what the art at the time looked like. Well, of course I'd pick one that didn't work. Let me see. Apostle Peter from 965. It's 12th century. that is what they would have been drawing and what their artwork would have looked like at the time. That is pretty neat. You can kind of get a good view of it. I can move it around so you see in comparison the size of the print, how they were writing. Looks like chicken scratch to me, and I'm sure to most average citizens nowadays that's what it does look like, but it is phenomenal. The writing is very bold and pretty neat, actually. I wish my kids could write that straight across the board. So we'll go back, and that is the imagery. Keyword for the imagery. If you're looking for angels, here's some angels. 17th century, we'll go to that. So this is 17th century, and this is kind of what they were envisioning when they were doing their artwork. And it is going to have angels in it because we did look it up by the search term angels in the imagery keyword. And then by books of the Bible. So any of these that you're looking for that would be relatable to maybe one of your favorite books of the Bible. I like New Testament. I can relate a little better. We'll go with 1 John. And we'll just pick something quite old, 6th century. That is pretty warped. Look at that. Oh, look at the size of the pages. And you can kind of see on the bottom, I don't know if that's writing, but you know, it can get into awfully good detail. I don't know if that was something to mark a page or if that's supposed to say 1 John. So all these tools, if you're really interested in this topic, are very helpful. It does show recently digitized manuscripts, the different Gospels, all the stuff they're working on the website. And it is actually supported by the Institute Museum of Library Services, and that is actually, I believe, out of Washington, D.C. So if you're interested in learning more about Edgar Johnson Goodspeed's collection of manuscripts over the course of his life, he has helped further our history and share all kinds of documents that we can enjoy for generations. And if you need to find out more, you just go to this site, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.